Hi, Fred with Wooden Welding, carpenter and handyman, giving you another project video. Thanks for watching. Customer wanted the soffit repaired on this older structure. It was made out of brick. The roof was slate, and the brick and the slate was in pretty good condition, but the soffit was in disrepair, as you can see from the picture there. It required about 28 feet in the front of repair and another 10 feet around the corner. And the unique thing about this soffit was that it encompassed a gutter in it. So the soffit support boards had to support the gutter and then support the front fascia. The soffit consisted of several different parts. The bottom boards were 2.5-inch tongue and groove. Then I had a 4-inch fascia board with a drip edge and a 4.5-inch piece of crown that lined the top next to the roof edge. The customer wanted to save as much of the old lumber as possible, so we took a lot of time to de-nail and cut off the bad stuff and save what we could. After demoing, I put some temporary supports up so that the gutter and edge of the roof would be supported. The soffit required 28 supports, and with the design of the cutout going around the gutter, the 2x6 supports were weak right under the gutter. So I glued and screwed 1/2-inch plywood to each side of the supports to give it a built-in gusset, and that really helped strengthen the supports. Before I could put up the soffit supports, I needed to address a problem with the gutter trough. The gutter trough was made out of 3/4-inch lumber and was built to set into the supports, but after years of not being supported, the copper liner on top had spread out with the weight of the water in the gutter and ice and stuff like that. So I had to take wood clamps and press it back into shape to accept the new soffit supports. We run string lines to maintain our distance from the building and to have a straight line for the soffit off of the building there. So a lot of the structure, the top plate of the structure, was in bad shape, so I needed to have a gauge to go off of. All of the soffit supports were cut just a little bit different because we had to maintain a slope for the gutter to the downspout. So at the very least we had an 1/8 inch per foot of slope to the downspout, and the strings help me maintain straight lines off of the building. This last shot here is of the front of the building with the supports in, and the line for the soffit looks pretty good. Next, I had to address the corner transition, and the soffit supports were pretty much up, and the gutter was sloped, but that transition piece where I came into the corner, the bottom soffit boards were going to be put into a herringbone design, so I had to have support there for that design. And what I come up with was a piece of plywood that went from the side support to the front support of the building, and I pocket hole screwed that corner piece in because there was no clearance. I probably had a ½ inch between the plywood and the gutter trough there. So I pocket hole screwed that, and then I put a corner support on so that I could put my fascia and crown molding on there. So that seemed to work out pretty good. I nailed a piece of 2x4 that I ripped down to 16 degrees to the top front of the supports, and it had to have that angle on there to maintain the spring angle for the top piece of crown molding. And it also gave me something for the top roofing board to set on and that I could tie into. And it really strengthened, brought it all together, strengthened everything pretty good, and I was happy with that. This is a picture of the side of the building. You can see I got a fence there. I had about 18 inches to 2 feet of clearance, so it was kind of a pain, but we got those supports in, and it was time to start putting on the face pieces. So I started with the tongue and groove and used the older stuff. Kevin got everything cleaned up real good for me, so it went okay. And the fascia board, the 4-inch fascia board with the drip edge, I only had so much of that, so I made what we didn't have out of 3/4 inch material and put a drip edge on it and matched everything up. Those corners were mitered, and we had just enough crown to make it around the corner, so that was a mitered corner as well. And you can see the herringbone design that we put on there to tie in the side of the building to the front of the building. The last piece we put on was a piece of crown that we had to make, and I used a piece of PVC molding to help me get the correct profile on that, and then mitered or routed the rest on the router table, and that turned out pretty good too. So it turned out good. We had a lot of fun on this project, and this is Fred with Wood and Welding, and hope you have a good day, and thanks for watching.